couple of weeks ago, I was making some beats, scrolling through samples, and then I found this one right here. And I thought to myself, wow, that's a very nice sample. However, I would like to do more with that. I don't want to just leave the sample alone. I want to be able to chop, splice it up just like all the pros do. Using this sample, let's get over to Logic Pro and just chop it up. So if you're just starting out on a beat and you've got nothing here, add an instrument track. In this instrument tab on the left side, you're gonna go and find this sampler, multi-sample. I usually go straight to stereo. And then from here, I'm gonna go to mapping. And then I'm going to take that sample that I just found, that beautiful J. Cole style sample, drag and drop it in there. And then from here, I'm gonna go zone, split, create zone split at transients. Click on that. And then if I hit Command K, open my keyboard, look what happens. I've got all these different parts of the sample that I can now play. Therefore, I'm able to chop the sample. Let's say I wanted to get a little bit more visual. I wanted to see what I was doing to each part. I go to this zone tab up here, and this opens up this whole section here. So if I go through again on my keyboard, you'll see how much it's allowing each note to be played in each part of the sample. So if I wanted to stretch or minimize how long the duration is, I can do so here very easily. So let's say I'm trying to brainstorm, I'm trying to find something, trying to find a groove. This is the beauty of sampling. You just got to find that loop. So what I did was just go through and start to mess around with each key until I found a nice little loop. So I actually really like this first note here, or one of the first couple notes. I'm like, okay, that's very smooth, but I kept messing around. I'm like, okay, that makes sense there. I went to 94 BPM, and so that I can have this metronome playing as I record in these samples. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit record and just play this in real quick. So obviously my notes were not drawn in perfectly. That's totally human, but the greatest thing about quantization is that it's there to help you get everything aligned. So I'm gonna select everything. I'll go to 1/8. I'm just gonna pick one of these notes and then Command R to duplicate this over. Actually, I'll just click and drag. It's a little bit easier. Just copy that over so it loops. And again, this is the very beginning of chopping the sample up. And as I was going through these keys here, I came across this one. I'm like, okay, that sounds like a really good transition. So I'll play that in real quick. Very rough there, obviously, but again, quantization is your friend. So I got the pattern down, right? It's not perfect, but I've got the pattern down. And so from here, it's up to you to just add effects, but that's essentially how you sample in Logic Pro. Let's get over to the full finished beat and I'll show you everything else I did with the sample. All right, folks, we're over here in the finished beat and you'll see there is a lot going on here. I actually left the entire original sample in at its original BPM, and then it's gonna lead right into where I started chopping it up and where the beat drops. So I'll just hit play so you can hear how it sounds. That sample that we chopped up in the previous project, that's right here. Turned out like this. As it gets to that end. It's just a simple 4 notes that I've used, and being able to chop and splice it up. I think honestly that's the beauty of sampling in the first place, is just making it your own. That was the core of the beat, and from here, bounced it as audio files, and then here I just added some fade in and fade outs, so it kind of like rises and pulses underneath the original sliced sample. So this is what it sounds like with the two of them combined. It sounds way more full as opposed to just having this, right? And then from here, I just kept adding instruments. So I went with this pad here. Same thing with this trumpet here. I actually use the pitch wheel or something, whatever that's called on your keyboard, where you can adjust the pitch in live time. I did that to adjust the pitch here. So as this trumpet's playing, it kind of goes up and down. So it's like a trumpet flare. And then I did the same thing here at the end. Underneath that, added some bells, really simple. And these kind of match the pad notes a little bit too, so. This is just to show you that it's, in my opinion, better to add more instruments on top of the sample that you chop up. One, I think that's good practice, just have variety of melodies that you can use when you're arranging a beat, but overall it just makes the sample sound way better. If I just wanted to leave that sample alone and have no other instruments, I could do that, but it just wouldn't sound as good. Like, that's cool. If I add everything else. And then I feel like that just takes it to an entirely different level. And then also, to go along with that sample, is I added these triangle triplets here at the end. So it kind of stands out because it's not following the same rhythmic pattern as everything else. So those triplets there I thought were really cool. The final thing I'll show you guys is just the vocals. And I thought it just fit perfectly with the sample. I just had to kind of maneuver my way until I found something that sounded good.
Don't say you down. You gotta stand up and fight.
I kept that, add that on top of all the drums, and you get this.
Don't say you down. You gotta stand up and fight.
And then actually one more thing before we send this video into the sunset is this crazy DJ scratch. You combine that with everything else and it just fits perfect. So at the end of this section, it's gonna break, and then I actually used original part of that sample that sounded like this. So it's just one note right there at the end going into the next verse. So it sounds like this as it transitions. That's basically it. We learned how to sample today. We looked at an example of how to use sampling to draw out a full beat. Again, just add those instruments on top, make it your own. That's what sampling's all about. Know that if you're sampling like copyrighted music or anything that's already been out there that is owned by someone else, as long as it's royalty free, you should be good. But if there's anything that's not, you just gotta be careful, because if you do sample and you release it, you just have to get a release on those things. Unfortunately, that's just the way the music business is, but I don't make the rules, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till the next one, keep making music, keep it simple, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.